Sup, y'all? It's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today we're going to be talking about something that I honestly did not expect to talk about for probably another month or two, but here we are, the patch 7.2 PTR. And I mean, guys, like, Nighthold Mythic ain't even out yet, and you're talking about the new raid? Damn! Like, I feel a little bit overwhelmed. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm excited. So I want to talk to you guys about the new stuff that's coming out in the patch. A lot of new stuff, probably going to be the way much bigger than patch 7.1. Way more stuff. You got the pet battle dungeon, you got class mounts, you got the new raid, you got the new dungeon. We're going to talk about all that stuff in this video. Now, I do apologize. I don't have any footage of patch 7.2 PTRs because they took it down a couple hours after they put it up. But in the coming days, you guys will obviously see some of the new features in the patch. So anyway, guys, obviously the big thing with pretty much any WoW patch is the new raid, right? So a new raid is coming out with patch 7.2 that is going to be the Tomb of Sargeras. Much of the gear in Tomb of Sargeras is going to be modeled after Black Temple, and it kind of gave me that vibe as well. Also, I believe Black Temple had 9 bosses, and I think that Tomb of Sargeras also has 9 bosses, but I'm not entirely certain. Anyway, on top of Tomb of Sargeras coming out, there's going to be a new dungeon called the Cathedral of Eternal Night. Now, it's going to be normal, heroic, mythic, mythic plus difficulty, so all 4 difficulties. It's not going to be anything like Karazhan or whatever. And also, speaking of Karazhan, Karazhan is going to be split up into 2 different raids for mythic plus. There's going to be lower Karazhan and then upper Karazhan for doing mythic plus raids. And I heard that they're going to be making it heroic. They're going to make like a heroic version of Karazhan so people can queue into it. Same with Archway and Court of Stars, but I didn't see that in the patch notes today, so I don't know if they scrapped that or they just didn't mention it. Either way, I'm not certain. So that's also going to be coming out. It's going to be a new 4-boss dungeon. Now, on top of that, sorry, I have to turn on my refrigerator here. On top of that, they're going to be adding in some new scaling for the dungeons. Now, right now, heroic dungeons drop 825 loot and mythic dungeons drop 840 loot. Both completely irrelevant, and it's a complete waste of time. The fact that the only way to make a dungeon relevant is to do it in a time frame with the mythic plus, I don't really think is good design. Blizzard fortunately agrees, and so what they're going to be doing in patch 7.2 is they're going to be buffing up basically all of the mob damage, all of the mob health. They're going to be pretty much scaling up all of the heroic dungeons and all of the mythic dungeons, and I think it's going to actually affect mythic plus as well. So basically what's going to happen is with that they're going to be scaling up the gear. So you're going to start off, it's going to kind of make heroic and normal, sorry, not heroic and mythic dungeons, I don't know if it's affecting normal, but it's going to make those difficulties a little bit more relevant again, so people don't feel like they just have to do mythic plus and the actual baseline types of content that those dungeons are pretty much made irrelevant. Now, also with the patch, obviously they're going to be doing a lot of like world events, and so you are going to be able to get flying in patch 7.2. So make sure that you're all caught up with I guess the Legion Pathfinder. Yeah, Legion Pathfinder Part 1. Part 2 is going to be requiring you to get a reputation with the new faction. I forgot honestly what the new faction is called, but it's going to be associated with the Broken Shores, where you like it. I think it's going to be kind of like the Molten Front, patch 4.2 for the Firelands. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be something similar to that, or maybe even Isle of Coldanis. It does seem like it's going to be some sort of like a server-wide effort, but I'm not entirely certain. Now, on top of that world content, they are going to be adding in, if you guys remember the Legion invasions during the like the pre-expansion event, they're going to be adding those Legion invasions back into the game inside the Broken Isles. So it's going to allow you to, like, you're going to be able to do like all of your normal stuff while the Legion invasions are going on. So it's not like if one's going on, it's just like that zone is shut down for that period of time. But at the same time, there are going to be bonus events and bonus objectives that you can do in that zone that are going to be probably somewhat lucrative, but I'm not really sure yet. Obviously, there hasn't really been any testing. Now, on top of that, there's going to be the new class mounts, class order hall mounts, and basically every class gets a new mount. Warriors get a retarded proto-drake, shamans get a water elemental that they can ride on, rogues get a storm crow, and paladins get a horse. Awesome. So some people are happy, some people aren't. We'll see what happens. But anyway, That's going to be happening. There's going to be a continuation of the Class Order Hall campaign. And on top of that, there's going to be kind of like a solo scenario, I guess, that you would go through. Now, if you guys played back in Mists of Pandaria and you played a Warlock, or you had an Alt Warlock, or basically you did the Green Fire questline, you would understand kind of like the way that Green Fire worked, right? So you kind of, if you were very good at playing a Warlock, or not really very good, you were okay at playing a Warlock, you were able to do the Green Fire questline and empower your spells to be green instead of red, okay? So they're going to be kind of using that same, I guess, like model, and they're going to be applying that for all classes, and there's going to be a specific weapon, I guess, like weapon appearance, right, for your artifact weapon that's going to be pretty much the warrior or the paladin or the priest equivalent of the Warlock Green Fire questline in Mists of Pandaria. So it's going to be a solo scenario that you do by yourself that takes a lot of, knowledge of the class, a lot of player skill, and so, having that appearance and, that unlock is going to actually be at least somewhat prestigious. Now, from my opinion, is that probably you're going to see it a lot. It's not going to be anything nearly as prestigious as like having like one of the mythic mounts, within like the first 3 or 4 months of the raid coming out, but I still think it's going to be relatively prestigious, and that's actually the warriors are going to get a flail, so that's fucking awesome, and it's also going to match really well with my Cataclysmic Gladiator elite set, so I'm really excited for that as well. Now, one thing that, well, besides the pet battle dungeon that we'll talk about in a minute, but one thing that I am really, really excited for is the new PvP brawls. Now, the way that that's going to work is it's going to be kind of like iterations and new variants of old types of gameplay, right? Of new old battlegrounds. So there's like Eye of the Horn, I believe, which is where you have to go into Eye of the Storm and you're mounted on rams. See, because it's the horn and rams have horns. So on top of that, they're adding back in the South Shore versus Terran Mill thing. That's the 40 versus 40 deathmatch. I'm really, really excited for that one. And one, honestly, I know this might sound silly, but I'm really excited to do the winter Alltrack Valley. Alltrack Valley is already in the winter. Arathi Basin. They're going to be doing a winter Arathi Basin where you have very, very limited mobility. Or, sorry, not mobility, visibility. So if you're playing, I don't know if you're going to be able to do this in RPGs or not, but maybe like war games. So you're going to have to communicate a lot more with your group. You can't really see things apart from each other. And, the water is frozen over. I'm really, really excited to do that. I think that doing, kind of like iterating and changing old types of gameplay to make them new again is going to be super exciting. I really, really want to do the winter Alltrack Valley. On top of that, there's going to be an arena where there's like 30 people in the arena, so that's just going to be a clusterfuck. And I think there's a couple of other ones as well. So a lot of different types. One where I think you can like capture Warsong Gulch flags with them having your flag. So it's basically just, let's just cap the flag as many times as we can. So bring a bunch of demon hunters or warriors with like, or the, I guess like Fury Warriors with a triple leap or something. So I don't really know how that's going to go, but I'm very, very excited for the PvP brawls, and also something like this you can probably expect to see a lot more of it in the future because of the fact that it's kind of like just iterating on old content. So it's not like you have to make something entirely new. So I do hope they make different types of content like that, like a summer Alltrack Valley, or like just different types of variants, just like having like maybe like NPCs or something like that in Warsong Gulch. I don't know, it'd probably be stupid, but something similar. I think that could definitely breathe like new life into something that people already have like a nostalgia for, and it could kind of reignite that in a positive way. Now also they're going to be adding in new artifact traits. They're going to be adding in a new gold trait, okay, and also on top of that there's going to be about 15 or so new traits for each weapon. So I already have like 54 traits, and then they nerfed my one spec, so now I'm getting 54 traits in my second spec, and so anyway, so we'll see how bad that's going to be. I don't really know how the Paragon points are going to factor into it, because some of them are actually going to be utility traits. It's not like just you're going to get straight 15 more Paragon points, so I don't know how those are going to scale or what's going to happen. And also you're going to be able to get relics that actually buff more than one different ability, right? So right now, any relic that you get only buffs one ability, but in patch 7.2, there's going to be some relics that are going to be able to buff two abilities. I don't know if these are going to be like legendary relics or anything like that, but I do feel like it could be interesting. Now, on top of that, obviously they are going to be doing, like what I said like 3 or 4 times, they are going to be making a pet battle dungeon, okay? And honestly, I was at some barbecue with my dad, and I was like checking on what's that thing called, Twitter, and I saw that they had the pet battle dungeon released, and they wanted feedback. I was like, oh boy, I'm gonna come home today, I'm gonna have some fun. But then by the time I got home, they turned off the PTR. But you guys are gonna see that in a couple of days. I'm pretty excited for that, for no real particular reason. I'm honestly just curious to see what it's going to be. So in general, I'm just pretty excited for the patch. As I said before, I mean, it's kind of overwhelming, right? I mean, Nighthold Mythic isn't even out yet, and they're already putting out the patch that's going to have the new raid in it. Super excited for that. It's going to be awesome. I really think that it will be. Now, personally, I don't really know how much content this is actually going to have, and, you know, like with the new zone, the Broken Shore being the new zone, with like the, you know, like there's going to be new world quests probably in the Broken Shore on top of the new faction and everything like that. I don't really know how much content there's going to be for solo players, but from the looks of it, from the most part, I think there's going to be a lot of focus, and this is a good thing, there's going to be a lot of focus on solo and casual players and being able to give them something that they can work towards, right? So like that extra artifact appearance, the class order hall mount. I just really hope that they make these types of content, you know, they give them longevity that is not in the form of, what's like really the word? Like basically like time sinks, right? And, time gating. They give them longevity that's not in the form of time gating. I would really hope to see that, or at least as little as possible. And also, I do want to mention one thing, is that in order to get flying into Broken Isles, you do not have to do any raids, and you do not have to do any dungeons. So anyway, guys, let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't really think that I did. I mean, I'm pretty excited about pretty much everything. So, like, let's look at the blue post here. Flying, PvP brawls, artifact updates, dungeon updates. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Awesome. Really awesome to see that they're already bringing out new content. They said that Legion was going to have a lot of content, and, you know, a lot of it's repetitive. Not a big fan of that. Everybody knows that I don't feel that way. That I do feel that way. And, you know, all right, that's another video. But what's important to talk about today is the new stuff, and I'm excited for it, and I think a lot of other people will be too. So let me know what you guys think is going to be awesome. As I said, man, Winter, how many times am I going to say Alltrack Valley? Winter, Arathi Basin, and the Pet Battle Dungeon, man. Like, that's it, dude. Like, I can't fucking wait. So anyway, guys, go ahead and let me know what you're waiting for, or you're excited for, or whatever. I mean, actually, you know what, guys? Why don't you just let me know if you're playing Elysium, because you do that anyway in my comment section every fucking video. Thanks for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe.